Going to look at Allie to Olmo here in lane 7, swim the 500 freestyle. Sometimes you're going to be in the frame, sometimes you go out of the frame. I'm going to play the video and talk about your splits for a little bit, and then kind of fast forward towards the end when you're in it a lot more, and then take a look at your actual stroke at that time. Okay, so here we are. Go real quick on the start here. Notice your legs as you're entering; they are like completely unengaged. So you got to kind of create some flexion, some in the legs so that they hold together. Point your toes back. You want to hit that water at a 45-degree angle. You really just barely get your hands together there, and then your feet are a whole mess getting into the water. All right, so here we are talking about the splits real quick. So end time of 5:58. This is faster than you went at all last season. You've been kind of in this 550 range a couple times this season, I believe. You're out 109, then a 12, 13, 12, 9, and that's by 100 there. You pretty much hold 36s for the first 300, and then on that fourth 100, you actually go 37 and then a 35. And I guess you missed the pad or something at the 450, so I don't really know your 50 splits on the very last 100, but you did come home in a 109, which was the same time that you took it out. So what we need to do on this 500 is adjust the way we actually swim it. You've made a really nice adjustment in the 200 over the course of the last year, and now it's time to really step up our game here in the 500. So what you want to do is you take it out nice and strong, and then you're consistent for the next 4 100s. So for example, if you were out, and I'm not saying this is a goal for you, this is just an example, but if you're out 110 and then you held 13, 13, 13, 13, that would be a really nicely swam race. All right, so for your goal time of going I don't know, 5:30, that's holding 106s, but that averaging out of 106, but you might be out a little faster than 106 and hold like 107s technically, okay? So what we need to do is get a lot more consistent. And whenever this new pool is built, hopefully that kind of coincides and goes hand in hand with your taper. So we start to really work on pacing, and it's in yards, and you get to really recognize what it feels like to go a 33 and 34 consistently in yards, as opposed to swimming in meters right now. You can kind of get a roundabout feel of it, but it's not quite as exact. So once we start training in some yards, and we start to rest and feel really fresh and good at meets, I feel like you're really set up. You are definitely going to go best time this year. I have no doubt about that. But starting to flirt with going 540, 530, those types of times is really exciting. I think you have a chance. Okay, so now fast forwarding a little bit here, where we are focusing just on you because Sophia, I believe, finishes her race. Oh, here, no, a little bit more. All right, so Sophia's finished her race right here, and so now we're going to really just watch you. So coming off the turn here, first thing you're doing, you're not taking any kicks, and you're taking a big breath looking up here towards the ceiling. Really inefficient, not at all what we're looking for. We need to keep our head down, take a couple kicks. I know it's a distance race. Still take a couple kicks off that wall, keep the head down for at least one stroke, and then take a breath, and that breath does not need to be towards the ceiling. All right, so here you are. You're really engaging the legs here in the last 50. Looking at the breath. Same thing as the 200. You're holding that breath to the very last second, so we got to take the quicker breath, get our head position right. The hands coming in kind of sideways here on each stroke. Oop. Yeah, the hands coming in way sideways, so you're slicing the water there. You're having to correct once it hits the water just to flatten out your hand and your arm again in order to take a correct pull. But I really like that you're engaging the legs here. Your kick has been slowly improving throughout the season, and it's going to make a big difference here at the end of the season. But we got to continue to think about that breath, think about as we're getting tired here, making sure we enter the water correctly so we set ourselves up to have a nice stroke throughout the pool. All right, coming in here at a 5:58, very nice swim. We're setting up to have a nice end of season couple of meets. Oh yeah, and you swim extra race. So maybe counting your race would be good. Don't always rely on the counter. I don't know if your counter messed up. I didn't pay attention, but even if your counter messes up, you should be counting your own race because you got to pace it. If you're not paying attention to how far you've gone, it's really hard to pace a race. All right, here we are.